It all started in 2012 when Jinping was China's premier. The hope was that his successor would rule a law and constitution after decades of inequality and ideological differences that had governed China's policy. Xi, the son of the wise reformist, was the first choice. But cut to 2022, and the political situation is very different. Pro-reformist leaders have been replaced by pro-communist party leaders. Experts exclaim that Xi had been keen on establishing a new era that would cement his legacy. The extent of Xi Jinping's political revamp is almost unrecognizable to what he took over. He used his previous government's political scandals to his advantage and rebranded his term as a resolution that China needs to stay afloat. He launched an anti-corruption campaign as soon as he took over as president. It laid down strict rules for party members, and Xi's enemies were eliminated for not complying with the rules. And thus began his massive restructuring of the party and the state. By 2018, he had established an entirely new government structure. Among the major structural changes were abolishing the collective leadership model. This also allowed him to decide that the party was the highest form of political leadership. It allowed the core leaders of the party to be in charge of all duties. He also reformed the People's Liberation Army by bringing in under the Central Military Commission. For decades, people in power had amassed vast fortunes. Xi's rule and reforms had given the public confidence that corruption was under check to an extent. But Xi also ensured that all dissent was tamed, and now the people of China have no voice to raise their concerns. The pandemic and related restrictions have been one of the issues that has affected their lives. Xi Jinping's zero-COVID policy has crippled China's economic outlook. Global institutions have said its economic outlook has been the worst since early 2020 and barely expanded in the second quarter of 2022. Regulatory uncertainties have put pressure on new hiring for some of the biggest employers like Alibaba and Tencent. Youth unemployment hits 19.3% for June of 2022, a record high for the communist country. But Xi Jinping insists on continuing with the policy, and there is no end in sight for the people of China. Xi Jinping started his political career in 2012 on the promise that the Chinese people could expect a more inclusive leader who would put the public first. But cut to 2022, the scenario is very different. And with Xi expected to secure a third term, experts predict that he may look to consolidate power.